With all the various anime series released over the years, it's inevitable that some genuinely great shows would fall through the cracks and be forgotten, whether due to being overshadowed by more popular anime airing at the same time, or simply never being given the opportunity to reach a wide enough audience in the West. Some shows just remain hidden, only being sought out by those specifically seeking a hidden gem. Personally, I love trying to unearth these underappreciated series. It's really cool to find a show no one you interact with has seen or even heard of, and thus have something really unique to recommend should people ask you for such. And with this video, I'd like to recommend to all of you 5 great anime that I love, which are severely underwatched. The first series I'd like to draw attention to is one that I actually talked about only a few weeks ago, being Library Wars. This 2008 series focuses on an alternate Japan where heavy censorship laws have forced libraries to take up arms to protect various forms of media. The show follows a group of librarians, most of which are soldiers, who have to fend off the forces of the Media Cleansing Committee, the group within the central government seeking to protect the public from dangerous books, television, and the like. Throughout its 13 episodes and movie, Library Wars explores a very intriguing world while tackling important themes about censorship and what media can mean to people, all while making the wars in the title very well earned. The characters, especially the protagonist Kasahara, are likable and grow quite a bit over the show's run, and the series knows how to balance its tone between the lighthearted and the plainly dark exceptionally well. I was pleasantly surprised by Library Wars when I watched it a couple months ago, and if you want to hear more about it, you can check out my recent video on the series overall. And after that, I implore you to give this series a chance, just like I did. The second series I'll mention is the show that always comes to mind immediately for me whenever the topic of hidden gems pops up. That show is Tamayura. Starting off as some OVAs in 2010, Tamayura would later receive 2 seasons, one in 2011 and the other in 2013, before being concluded with 4 hour-long movies in 2015 and 2016. It focuses on a group of girls living life in a town by the Seto Inland Sea. The main character, Fu Sawatari, used to take photos with her now-deceased father. Having moved to his hometown where they used to visit, she uses photography to find the beauty in life, as well as help her and her friends uncover what they're all passionate about. Tamayura is an iyashikei, and there are plenty of beautiful scenery and locations for the characters to interact in, and of course, photograph. And while that alone would already give it high marks for me, it's the gradual focus on each character figuring out who they are and what they want to be that really sears the series into my memory. This largely relaxing show actually gets fairly emotional later on as the characters try to reckon with what their futures are and what careers they might want to value and pursue going forward. The main cast all genuinely feel like great friends who love each other, and just getting to see them be friends and do things together was an incredible joy. Their dynamic is the core of Tamayura, and watching them recover from loss, contend with change, and walk towards the future is unbelievably fulfilling. As a series that manages to be both calming and insightful, it and its characters will always have a special place in my heart. Next, let's talk about Planetarian. This is a key adaptation that released in 2016, and I think is overlooked mostly for its short length. The main series is only 5 episodes, and they're all at or below standard runtime. Later, there was a movie that was largely recap, albeit with post-series content spread throughout, sort of like the Anohana movie, as well as a prequel OVA which released only last year. On the one hand, this light amount of content makes the show a very quick watch, while on the other, it may discourage prospective viewers who might believe there just won't be enough to grab them. Planetarian is set in a post-apocalyptic world where humans scavenge the remains of civilization while fending off various robotic wartime obstacles. Our main character, one of these junkers as they're called, stumbles upon a planetarium from before the conflict, and inside finds an android named Yumemi, whose purpose was to host the exhibit and greet customers. While the Junker initially can't stand Yumemi's insistence to watch the Planetarium show and her difficulty in understanding the current state of the world, he slowly gets sucked into her desire to get the show working so that she can show him the stars. But of course, this can only be a temporary reprieve from the deadly world outside the planetarium's walls, and the reality of this will ultimately catch up to them. Planetarian manages to convey moments of bliss, despair, and hope throughout its run, and I can't understate how emotionally resonant and memorable this series manages to be despite its small number of episodes. And nothing that transpires in the series ever feels rushed. Everything has its place and carries impact when all is said and done. If you're looking for a quick but effective story to watch, this is the anime for you. The next series is probably the least unknown among the bunch, being 2010's Sound of the Sky. This is also a bit of a post-apocalyptic series, albeit one where the world is less ravaged than Planetarian's, at least on the surface. In the Republic of Helvetia, Kanata Sorami joins the military, largely in order to play the trumpet. Stationed in a border region of the country, she and her platoon mates live a fairly quiet, seemingly blissful life in the mountains. However, as the series progresses, we get more and more of an insight as to the darker nature of this world, the horrors of war which some of the characters have experienced, and the looming threat of a future conflict with Helvetia's greatest threat, the Holy Roman Empire. This is very much so a series that can surprise you with just how dark it gets. This isn't K-On! In the military, even if the character designs might evoke that. These characters are still soldiers, and war is always a real concern. Nevertheless, this universe is struggling to survive, and the series seeks to show the beauty that can still be found in a dying world. Even when things are at their bleakest, there can still be joy and hope to unearth. This setting is very interesting, and I actually wish we got to see it explored even more than we did. Regardless, this show is heartwarming at its core, with likable characters who all get some level of spotlight over the show's 14 episodes. This isn't just a cute girls doing cute things show, so don't let any concern regarding that keep you from experiencing this charming little series. Just don't be like the people who complain about the Romans speaking German, given that they are the Holy Roman Empire after all. I've seen that raised as a complaint surprisingly often, obviously from people who don't know their history. And lastly, let's take a look at Encouragement of Climb, first released in 2013. This is another Iyashike focusing specifically on mountain climbing and hiking. Aoi Yukimura used to go climbing with her childhood friend Hinata when they were little. After Hinata moved away, Aoi was traumatized from falling off monkey bars and became afraid of climbing. Now in high school, Aoi and Hinata are reunited after the latter moved back, and Hinata opens Aoi back up to the world of mountains and hiking. Along the way, they meet new friends, tackle various mountains across the area, and take in the breathtaking views and scenery. The dynamic between Aoi and Hinata is a joy to watch. They have their silly arguments and fights, but deep down they both deeply care about each other, and their bond is a major focal point across the series. Encouragement of Climb's first season consisted of 13 3.5-minute episodes, with the last 30 seconds being for the ending, while its second and third seasons had their runtimes up to 13.5 minutes, now with 26 and 13 episodes respectively, and regular length openings and endings. The only regular length episode so far was an OVA released in between seasons 2 and 3. But that is about to change. A fourth season is coming this fall, and the episodes will actually be standard length for the first time, aside from said OVA. So at the moment, you're only looking at the equivalent of like 21 or 22 regular length episodes to watch prior to the upcoming fourth season, which isn't too much of a commitment. In fact, it might help to encourage watching the show little by little, slowly taking in each episode and all its atmospheric beauty. I watched this series a little under a year ago, and I am very grateful that I did. Season 4 is undoubtedly the show I'm looking forward to the most this fall. And so, there you have 5 great anime series that you've probably never seen before. I strongly recommend that you give these series a shot if they sound at all interesting to you. They may not all appeal to everyone, but I hope that at least some of those listening can find a new favorite anime from among these hidden gems. Thank you all for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.